maraming stressors talaga when our power or energy sources are not so reliable. Nakaka-throw off ng schedule, and it challenges consumers to a higher degree. And that affects all of us, no matter whether you are middle class, rich, poor. It's an impact that has a bearing for all of us.
Welcome to the Power Talks by Pare podcast, produced by GRD Media, where we explore critical issues affecting the Philippine energy sector. I'm your host, Nick Soto Jr., the Chief Advocate of Pare, or Partners for Affordable and Reliable Energy. Today, we're shining a light on the widespread impact of high electricity rates and unreliable energy supply in the Philippines. Beyond the blackout, understanding its impact on Filipinos. Joining me is Ben Garcia, the national convener of Ilaw Pilipinas, an NGO, a non-profit grassroots organization fighting for consumer rights for more affordable energy. Ben, welcome to the podcast. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick, and hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here at Partners for Affordable and Reliable Energy podcast.
There you go. Good morning, Ben. Now, for the benefit of our listeners, could you please elaborate on what Ilaw Pilipinas is and what are the activities that you do?
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for that. So, Ilaw is actually a non-profit grassroots organization, Nick, that hopes to be able to really inform more and more member consumer owners about their rights, their as consumers to just affordable and reliable energy or electricity in our country. So we were actually formed last December 2023. And we really hope to be able to help every MCO, member consumer owner in our communities all around the Philippines, to have access to that affordable, reliable service from our electric cooperatives and the energy industry as a whole.
There you go. Thank you for sharing. It's clear that Ilaw Pilipinas plays a crucial role in advocating for energy consumers. Now, let's dive into the core of our discussion today. No? Ready na ang ating mga listeners and viewers. So, what are the primary drivers of high electricity rates and frequent brownouts here in the Philippines?
Well, when it comes to high electricity rates, Nick, it's definitely because we're a country that heavily depends on coal. So 60% of our energy comes from coal, and this is not even coming from our own country. We actually import it from other Asian countries like Indonesia. So the cost of buying coal from another country, bringing it to the Philippines, definitely does have an impact, especially now that the dollar rates are so high. Aside from that, we also have, in terms of reliability of our energy grid itself here in our country is actually already very old. And in spite of the fact that our energy demand as a country has been expanding in the last couple of years, our grid, our power lines, all of the facilities that actually bring electricity to our homes have not been as great upgraded as fast. So when we look at that, there's the energy source where it comes from. Coal is so expensive, and then when it comes to our homes, the power lines, all of the infrastructure that's put in place have been aging and are only now actually being renewed or given supplemental energy lines. So basically, that's why our energy is so expensive.
Totally agree, Miss Ben. No? So, kung makikita kasi natin, because of the imported raw materials, we are becoming very vulnerable dun sa volatility ng exchange rate ng dollar and ng peso. So, kung baka biglang mag-shoot up ng 70 pesos ang exchange rate ng dollar, imagine, no?
Yes.
So, yun.
Scary to think about.
One more thing yung sinasabi mo, Ben, na because our facilities are so old already, so nababawasan ngayon yung efficiency ng power.
Yeah.
Tama ba?
Yes.
Mhm.
Definitely. Because since our power lines are aging, sometimes they break down when the energy surges or it's not enough. And there's a lot of if we actually look at our electric bill, di ba, generation charges ang
Yes.
pinakamalaki. And that's actually coming from the whole infrastructure already. It's not even ours that the energy that we're using that's being charged to us. So yun then, we also need to study the nuances, intricacies of our electric bill na ang daming charges talaga.
Exactly. So kung titignan natin dito, ang kailangan talaga natin is upgrade in facilities, not only in the generation side, but
Yes,
across all channels, no? From the
yes.
generation side, the transmission, and down to our utility distributors. Kasi kung mas efficient yung ating output ng power ang ating facilities, then definitely we get the 100% output that consumers deserve. No?
Tama, tama.
Ayun. So,
Yes.
totally agree. Thank you very much for that. No? Kung whenever there are brownouts, it's not just um, households that suffering. So, can we describe the impact on the daily lives ng ating mga consumers?
Mhm.
No, the difficulty of brownout and the impact of brownout sa kanila.
Yes, thank you for that question. Actually, we're so glad you asked that because as an organization, Ilaw Pilipinas just recently concluded actually our focus group discussions on the impact of brownouts on businesses in particular. So, medyo small pa lang yung size ng aming study, but definitely we already could see the study was done in Palawan, Baguio City, and Tagum. And when we interviewed the different representatives of businesses in the different cities, they really came up with answers where definitely, like for example, you're in the service industry, let's say restaurant. One of our respondents said that definitely when there's no power, there are certain dishes that they couldn't already perform. So the delivery of their services are made more difficult. We also had a mom who shared that when a brownout happens, you can't use the rice cooker. You have to go back to the bricks and mortar way of cooking rice. You have to use the stove, or even sa heating ng bread, you can't use the oven toaster. So also another difficulty in the kitchen first, if all the lights are out and I'm using, let's say, even a supplementary, maybe solar powered or battery powered light, it's difficult to move around in the kitchen, especially if you're in the service industry. You have to be extra careful because it's dark and you're handling knives. So there's more danger as well. And even in the quality control. So you have to really check with other lights if the food that you're giving to the customer is good. Meron din nagsabi so everything is more difficult. You can't heat water using an electric heater. You can't use certain appliances. And then yun nga, for some of us who have experienced really frequent outages, our appliances alone will get destroyed easily because of the power surges. So you have to buy maybe a certain appliance more often than you would if there were no power surges or brownouts. So kailangan bibili ka ulit ng water heater or maybe even a refrigerator, something like that. So there's this cost. And then the saddest one for me was when one of our interviewees mentioned that aside from yung ice cream na tutunaw, so you can't serve ice cream. Sabi nila, Nick, na meron din yung mental health. Sabi nung isang respondent from Palawan, nakakabuwang. It can actually drive you a little bit crazy because if you're having a business or you have to do certain things, the loss of power is an additional cause of stress. Na if you're a person who works as a digital native, you have to go out of the house and look for a place where you can actually work. And if it's unannounced, then that really throws off your whole schedule and sometimes even how you do your work on a certain day. So marami siyang impact, from the physical difficulty of the work to the challenges in terms of being able to achieve tasks that are easier when the light is on, and then also the mental health aspect where you don't know, do my lights get to stay on this day, or do I have to do this other things. So maraming stressors talaga when our power or energy sources are not so reliable. Nakaka throw off ng schedule, and it challenges consumers to a higher degree. And that affects all of us, no matter whether you are middle class, rich, poor. It's an impact that has a bearing for all of us. So yun, Nick. Just a few.
Oo,
Marami pa.
marami pa, no? Totally agree. Similarly, pare also conducted the Batangas Energy Forum in 2023. And we also had our focus group discussion in Isabela, Batangas, Pangasinan, and as well as in Baguio. And no, makikita natin halos pare-pareho yung lumalabas, no. There was
True.
one insights coming from the Batangas Energy Forum na meron silang patient sa bahay. So the patient is dependent doon sa electricity, no? So apparently meron siyang parang what do you call that, concentrator, oxygen concentrator. So nakasaksak siya sa kuryente, no? So dependent yung light ng kanyang father sa kuryente, and apparently they're having like 8 hours to 14 hours brownout. So imagine yung impact sa kanila. So totoo yung sabi mo, Ben, no, na it's an additional cost because you need to buy generators, you need to
Yes.
buy, solar
Power
panels,
banks. Oo.
power
Power bank.
banks.
Oo.
Kasi wala ka naman choice eh.
Oo.
No,
Wala tayong choice. Yun
wala
talaga yun.
tayong choice. Yan.
Yes.
So there was also in the focus group discussion, one of the insights that stood up was about business. So ang nangyayari kapag ka ganun na nag-brownout, yung nabanggit mo kanina, unscheduled brownout, yung biglaan na mag-brownout. And then hindi nila alam kung kailan babalik yung ilaw. So definitely, yung production ng business, stop kagad yung production, no? And then si entrepreneur, hindi niya alam kung papauwiin niya yung kanyang mga tao or they will wait kasi they don't know kung gaano katagal yung brownout. So imagine yung stress na nangyayari. And imagine na it's not really about not serving ice cream, but yung
Yeah.
nabanggit nga, it's the
Trigger.
mental health. No,
Yes.
nakakapuwang.
Totoo.
And
And
I
it's,
agree.
diba? And if you're no work, no pay, then you're hanging around there waiting for the light to come. It's really a difficult thing, di ba? Na parang magkakasweldo ba ako today o hindi? And so even the job security, the security of having earnings for the day is also threatened when our power goes out. Grabe.
So doon na pumapasok ngayon yung productivity, no? Kaya hindi natin alam kung makakasahod ka. And like for me as well, I'm a virtual assistant. I rely on energy a lot. Kaya ako, meron na akong generator sa bahay. So it's an additional cost, no? So can you discuss this further dun sa lumabas ng inyong FGD on the impact on productivity, business closures? Did you have business closures that you ever
Yes, there were
covered? Yeah.
some. Definitely, Nick. May na-mention talaga na in terms of Tagum, we discovered this actually in the focus group discussion in Tagum, where because of the losses that they were incurring, it wasn't just already like 5,000 or 2,000 pesos, but really big amounts that would affect the business. Na they would really have to consider, do we continue doing what we're doing, serving the community, or do we just close because the losses are just too great? And aside from businesses closing, like there's the school that actually was interviewed where they said, we cannot compete with the bigger universities that can afford, let's say, huge generators and the cost of the diesel to run that. And so even their survival is now at stake because of the frequent brownouts in their area. And also, aside from businesses closing, there's also where investors, when they see this happening in that particular city, they will have second thoughts. Why would I invest in a city like this? And that was the same for Palawan. Sabi nga nila, one of the focus group discussion participants said, business is dead in Palawan because nobody wants to invest in us because they see nga that the brownouts are so frequent that it's like you're putting money into a hole. Bakit ka mag-i-invest sa ganun when there are other places na you can invest and the electricity even isn't that costly. So that's
Yeah.
double whammy. Ang sakit, 'di ba, Nick? Ang
Oo.
sakit talaga.
Pero kung titignan natin, ang nakakatawa dito, like the president always discusses about investors coming in the Philippines. But then when we go down to the grassroots and conduct our own research, our own focus group discussions, ito yung mga sinasabi nila na business is dead, walang pumapasok na investors. But if you think of the data that the government is bringing out, sinasabi nila, ang dami mga investors gustong pumasok sa Pilipinas. What do you think about this?
I'm not, I don't know, it really makes you wonder, parang
Mhm.
where are these investors?
Yeah,
Where are these
exactly.
people? Because definitely for us who are in touch with the grassroots, we hear their cry that there are
Yeah,
no investors, or if there are investors, they would have second thoughts and actually eventually decide, no, we're going to take our money elsewhere. Which
exactly.
talagang, di ba, where is this dichotomy? Where, how can we rationalize this?
Yeah, even for us, even for Pare, we're still wondering na merong gap sa data. There's a gap between the data that the government are releasing. Even the Department of Energy mentioned, no, they conducted the investment forum, and then during the investment forum, nabanggit nga nila na it's a good news because a lot of investors are coming in. But when you go down to the grassroots, parang wala naman, no? Parang wala kaming maramdaman, and it's really kind of sad that publicly in the news, we say that there are a lot of investors coming in, but when in reality and you go down to the grassroots, kawawa talaga yung mga businesses natin. And Ben, kung makikita natin, no, ang kawawa na naapektuhan talaga pag may brownout are the MSMEs, no? These are the micro, small, medium enterprises na sobrang apektado. At least kung ikaw ay isang corporation or you're a large company, you have that financial capability to actually set up your own solar
Yes,
power or you have your
tama.
batteries installed. No,
Yes.
pero kung mga maliliit na negosyante, kawawang-kawawa tayo kasi nabanggit mo kanina, it's an additional cost. So diving on this additional cost aside from generators, kasi kailangan nila bumili ng additional na generators, no?
Mm, mm.
You've mentioned also a while ago yung power surge. Na kapag ang power surge, ito yung biglaang pagpatay ng kuryente at biglang pag-on ng kuryente. So it's like
Oo.
around 5 seconds, no? And
Mm.
nabanggit mo kanina na it it destroys kasi yung mga equipments, yung ating mga oven, yung ating mga rice cookers,
Yeah.
refrigerators. So this is additional cost for the consumers, yeah?
Definitely, definitely additional cost.
Mhm.
And it's really something na if we could work more closely together, maybe with the electric cooperative, para din talagang we can emphasize that definitely let's all be careful. There are those also conservation things that we can consider for people nga na let's wait before we actually
Mhm.
plug in. Maybe give it 5 minutes before you do that. But it's really a challenging thing because on a consumer perspective, of course, you're really excited to plug in when the light comes back. So hopefully we can also have that dialogue na hindi pinagsasabihan yung mga consumer na, kasi kayo, narinig ko to sa isang focus group discussion namin, kasi kayo hindi kayo bumibili ng ISO quality na mga appliances. Yung pati ba naman yun, ipuput natin sa consumers, sobra na nga yung dagok sa kanila. So there has to be that thing where we also work together with so many other different
I
the
agree.
ACs and all that na let's understand each other, but also, 'di ba, let's all work together more importantly for quality services that will benefit definitely the consumers. Para hindi tayo forever na nagtuturuan, nagsisisihan na. Oh,
Oo.
and then yung dehado talaga ang consumer.
Exactly. Tayo palagi, no, yung mga kahit sinasabi ng government and even our DOEs na lahat naman tayo dito consumers kami, apektado din kami, no. Ang every time I watch the news and then I hear that statement, ang sa akin kasi is really i-compare natin yung brownouts, yung frequency ng brownouts ng sa inyo na nandyan sa Manila versus yung sa amin na nandito sa province, di ba? And then
sasabihin na lahat tayo apektado ng brownout. Pero in Tagum ba, how often ang brownout in Tagum?
Based on the information we gathered in our focus group discussion for Ilaw Pilipinas, it's really bad. Like in a week, they would have like 2 brownouts in a week. And these are not just yung brownout na nawawala sandali. Kung minsan 8 hours yan, 12 hours. And there's just yung parang please be patient, bear with us. Na parang if it happens every week, I'm not going to be patient with you anymore, di ba? And even here in Baguio, we have those areas na if you're in the Central Business District, tayo yung binayayaan because we're the priority, right?
Yes.
So we don't lose. But if you were part of the fabled feeder 13 that has already been divided into 2 feeders and it's still having the same issues, di ba? Madapuan lang ng ibon or makuryente lang yung isang sawa, the lights go out. And they also mentioned that this happens almost every week. So it's a heavy thing. It's not just yung parang once a month or sometimes. I'm sure we've experienced this light in Trinidad when the rains came. Right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
right. All of our different feeders were giving up or exploding, something like that, because of the rain and all of these things. So it's really big. And our focus group discussion with Ilaw Pilipinas in both in all Baguio, Palawan, and also Tagum bear it out that this is a regular occurrence to the point that one of the respondents said, it's a fact of life. Sadly, we have to accept it. It's painful to say, but that it is what it is. Masakit talaga, pero yun na yun.
Yes. No, kung makikita nga natin, Beng, in Tagum, you mentioned twice in a week, no? In our focus group discussion in Batangas, the reason rin naman na pumunta tayo ng Batangas, the Batangueños were flooding my page. So nung una, ayoko saan pumunta in Batangas, pero they were flooding my page and asking me na what are the solutions, ano bang pwedeng gawin, no? And then apparently when we conducted the Batangas Energy Forum, we found out na araw-araw ang brownout, no? So even in the Facebook page of Batelec 1 and 2, halos araw-araw meron silang barangay na nawawalan ng kuryente, and from Monday to Sunday, meron talaga silang announcement, no, ng brownout. And what's sad really is from all of the electric cooperatives that we have been collaborating with, no, mga nakakausap natin ng mga GMs, parang hindi nila kasalanan. It's as if it's not their fault. It's as if parang hindi ganyan bumigay yung feeder, it's not our fault, no. Pero ang sa atin lang kasi, in parent, even in I don't know, in Ilaw Pilipinas, that hey, yes, it's not your fault na dumapo yung ibon dyan, pero tulungan nyo naman kaming mga consumers.
Oo naman. Oo naman.
Nawalan nga ng kuryente, huwag nyo nang patagalin kasi apparently under the index, the international index, ang standard, pagka ganyan, 30 minutes, tapos na dapat sila. No? So, kunyari, yung transformer, 30 minutes, 1 hour, they should be done. Hindi siya yung umaabot talaga ng long stretch na 14-hour blackout. It's a different story. But yun nga, yung sabi mo nga na, it's so sad.
Yes.
Wala tayong magagawa.
And I hope our viewers don't misinterpret na natatawa tayo, di ba? Because it's our Filipino response sometimes na we laugh at it, but that does not dismiss the fact that it is a difficulty, that it's causing our fellow Filipinos a lot of suffering. So we try to make light of it, but we know that it's a heavy burden, right, Nick?
And sometimes, no, I've been fighting for consumer welfare, for so long. I started in 2021, and sometimes kaya ako natatawa kasi it becomes a frustration, a disappointment na lang na of everything that we're doing, paulit-ulit na lang siyang nangyayari. I've always been telling the government na, sir, paki-check nyo naman to because on a yearly basis, we're having yellow and red alert at paulit-ulit. I've submitted my position paper on what are the steps and the solutions that I think would help for a more progressive energy sector and a more affordable and reliable energy. Pero until now, Eto na naman tayo. Yellow and red alert just happened. It became
Yeah.
one of the reasons
A few
kung
days
bakit,
ago.
a few days ago, and then tumaas ang presyo ng kuryente, halos lahat itong June, all, I think, across the Philippines, tumaas lahat ang presyo because of the yellow and red alert na nangyari. So, the situation in the Philippines is so scary, it's so daunting. I know Ilaw Pilipinas is actively working towards sustainable solutions as well. So, what are the steps that we can take as a nation to address this energy crisis? Although, sabi ni Lutilia, it's not an energy crisis. And sabi ko nga na might be, technically, it's not an energy crisis by definition. But for the consumers kasi, because of the frustrations and disappointments, they feel that it's really a crisis already. So what do you think are the steps, or what are the current steps or solutions that Ilaw Pilipinas is doing?
Well, definitely in our focus group discussion and how we've looked at the issue as well, we really recommend that there has to be a roadmap that our government is going to present us and that they will follow in terms of developing the different structures, the infrastructure, the power lines that we have for them to be able to update it. So this is for them to really be able to show us that things are happening. It's not just, oh, now that everybody's commenting on it, here we are, we're actually opening the Panay line and all of these things. It has to be a consistent improvement. We're also recommending that definitely there has to be a seat at the table for consumers where we can really meet with these different stakeholders in the system, and they don't set aside the consumers. We have to be part of it, and they don't just parang token attendance or whatever. Definitely not that, but it has to be where we are sitting at the table, we are all discussing things, and they take us seriously. And aside from improving our power structures, so 60% coal, di ba? Sabi ng studies natin, 60% dependent on coal. We have to keep on exploring other sources of energy that can help to ease that burden, where we're not spending so much money importing coal from other countries. So renewable energy, let's really have our DOST, our scientists, work together on this. And when we attended the solar and storage convention in Baguio in May sa SMX, there really were very promising steps already being taken, particularly in solar. So improvements in solar that can help. They mentioned that our rooftops are actually the next biggest real estate for solar power. Now we have to look at ways. Now we're not sacrificing our land naman, 'di ba, for our food, but we have so many rooftops that we can actually use for solar power. We can also have lalo na here in Benguet, hydro, right? Because we have rivers that we can actually use to be able to produce hydroelectric power as well, and wind. So wind is another source of power that we can also consider. So those renewable sources that we can be able to have to alleviate the burden naman from the use of coal, para hindi naman puro coal ang
Yeah.
ginagamit natin, 'di ba?
Agree. How about on policy? Do you have any activities? Does Ilaw Pilipinas have plans to provide research or position papers to our Congress or to DOE?
Definitely. Yes, definitely. That's what our initial foray into the
Mhm.
focus group discussion on the effect of blackouts on businesses. That's our start already of our papers. So we have distributed copies of this in Baguio, in Palawan, and in Tagum. And we're also hoping to be able to submit that copy to our stakeholders so that they can also see what we're doing. But this is just the start. We definitely want to be able to work together on white papers, making recommendations on policy changes, lalo na sa EPIRA, right? There are things that EPIRA has many beautiful things about it, but there are also things that need to be improved, particularly with the ERC. baka nga naman kulang yung powers ng ERC na nagiging
Yeah.
reactive lang siya, hindi siya
Yeah.
nagiging talagang, before the problem happens, they can already step in. Maybe we can look at some of those things.
Mhm.
And then,
Yes.
also particularly in the policy, para naman sa ating mga consumers, alisin ang VAT sa electricity. Bakit tayo nagbabayad ng VAT? Napakamahal na nga, and it can really help our consumers if that is removed from the electric bill. So some of those policies, we hope to be able to make a change, and with PARE, of course, with us and our other partners, di ba, in lobbying for these changes, together we can make that change in the future.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And on IPIRA, the framers of the Constitution during that time, it was acted on 2021. And yes, the IPIRA might have been useful, and it was useful during that time. And it's already 2024. I totally agree with you that I think we need to revisit the IPIRA, and there are a lot of things that we need to amend in IPIRA. And hopefully, antayin natin, because our beloved president has actually called out already during the SONA that we need the IPIRA amendment. No? So yun, thank you, Ben, for those valuable insights.
Thank
Now,
you, Nick.
we've been aware that there are a lot of problematic electric cooperatives in the Philippines, right? So what's your message to these problematic cooperatives, and what action should the government regulators take to address these issues?
Electric cooperatives. So you and I are from Benguet,
Yeah.
and we actually had a struggle that happened in 2021, right, with our own electric cooperative Beneco, where I believe that the government really has to step up and look at the different structures of our electric cooperatives, and if they're really not performing, make them accountable, diba? Make them accountable, but also to take a step back, and if an electric cooperative is performing well, definitely stop getting in the way of the services. Kasi kung maganda na yung papalakad, katulad nga sa electric cooperative natin, bakit pa sila nakikialam when there are so many other electric cooperatives that have problems? So I think in terms of really policing all of this, I'm not sure if they can really work together to have a fair and equitable way as well of really assessing this. I know that NEA has their own way of being able to really look at how well an electric cooperative is running, but they also need to be fair and not be arbitrary about their decisions on whether an electric cooperative is AAA or it's all of those different levels. So yun din, we have to look at that, na they are fair, they're following the law, because whenever there is trouble in an electric cooperative and government agencies step in, I'm not sure if our fellow consumers know this, pero tayong nagbabayad ng mga bayad ng lawyers, bayad ng kaso, inaalis sa ating mga consumer yan. And that's an additional expense that I find very, very unfair. So they have to make sure that in terms of the decisions they make, hindi sila dapat bara-bara, that they have to think carefully, and will these decisions really benefit the consumers? Like you and me, di ba, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. So, yun. Now, that's one more thing, buti nabanggit mo siya. There are a lot of consumers na hindi nga nila alam yun. Every time that an electric cooperative ay sangkot sa isang kaso, yan, the lawyer's fee, the consultant's fee, everything is being paid by the consumers, kasi nga, these are non-profit, no, ang ating mga electric cooperatives. There you go. So, any electric cooperative, problematic electric cooperative currently that you are focused on or helping with?
Yes, definitely there's one. And we were able to have the focus group discussion in their city, actually. So that's Paleco, the one in Palawan. Because, yun nga, there are many irregularities that the consumers have noted. And one of the disturbing things about that also is the right of the member consumer owners to be heard or to be able to listen to the reports
Yeah.
of their electric cooperative. They were supposed to have their annual general members assembly May
Mhm.
2024. But the excuse of Paleco is, masyadong mainit. We were going through the hottest summer ever in 2024, and they said, sige, let's move it to November. And that delay is just parang, what? Why move it all the way to November? It's already started raining. Shouldn't the member consumer owners of Paleco already have the exercise of their right to be able to know what's really going on in their electric cooperative? So that's one of the electric cooperatives that we see right now. So we're working closely with the member consumers of Puerto Princesa. So that's one of our partners right now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, no? And makikita kasi natin, this has been a long time problem in Palawan as well. Hindi lang ngayon yan. No? It has been so long. I think even pre-pandemic times, they already have a problem in the area. So there you go. Thank you very much, Beng and Ilaw Pilipinas, for sharing your expertise and passion for energy advocacy. It's been an enlightening conversation. Now, before we wrap up, now we'd love to hear your pare advice for our listeners. So, how would you complete the phrase? Now, I am pare, of course, and the message you would like to leave with them.
Okay, sige. So, I am pare, of course, Beng Garcia of Ilaw Pilipinas. And we would really want to encourage member consumers to be more involved. Let's really go beyond commenting on Facebook about our issues with our electric cooperatives. Like and follow our page, Ilaw Pilipinas, and share your thoughts with us. And maybe we can work together, invite us, or we can come to your city so that we can form groups of Ilaw Pilipinas consumers who are going to be lobbying for better, more affordable services from our energy industry. So let's not just react on Facebook. Magkaisa po tayo, and let's be able to really bring our concerns to the attention of our government, our energy sector. And let's be active. Wag po tayong magsawa. Let's put that pressure on. And let's be really with pare, work with other also stakeholders, especially in the consumer groups, for our voice to get stronger.
Totally agree, Beng, no? And as NGOs, as consumer groups, hindi naman tayo nandito para mang-away ng gobyerno o mang-away ng ibang departamento. We are here. We would like to collaborate with our energy regulators. Actually, I commend some of their actions and activities ng ating regulators, and even the president. We commend some of the achievements of our president. Regardless that we have a lot of problematic cooperatives here in the Philippines, we also cannot discount the fact that there are a lot of good electric cooperatives in the Philippines. And sa mga magagaling na electric cooperatives has been effective. We salute you. Sana tuloy-tuloy lang kayo. No? And sana yung sharing ng best practices na dun sa best electric cooperative, sana turuan niya yung worst electric cooperative. No?
Totoo.
Magtulungan din sila, no? And hopefully that we could have you more on our next episode. Now, this is Nick Satur Jr. from Pare, reminding you that energy security is everyone's responsibility. Stay informed, get involved, and together we can build a brighter future for the Philippines. And we are Pare. Of course, I advocate for affordable and reliable energy. There you go. Beng Garcia, Ilaw Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po, and thank you for all your insights.
Thank you so much, Nick, and thank you for Pare as well. Mabuhay kayo.